Hello everyone. Before we start today's video, if you could all do me a solid and lightly tap the like button, perhaps share the video about and leave a comment. If you are not subscribed, subscribe as well. It would greatly help this channel. Thank you very much. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Dear Nader, what you now see on the screen is a fair use disclaimer. I am explicitly addressing this to you because you don't seem to know what this is, and I will cover most of that in this video anyway. I am protected by YouTube's own terms of service that allow me to critique and mock you, using your own content to make the relevant points. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Mukbangers' Wives. Today we're going to be covering somebody that came into the life of one of our favourite girls over a year ago, and since then has risen to superstardom as a chef so talented they love their chicken medium rare, a man of such impeccable cleanliness and hygiene, a man who himself is rich in culture and not at all a sponge, not the type to milk someone dry, disappear, hate them, cause them grief, and in turn they cause him grief, to then go back when payday comes round. He's not a parasite, or a locust, or a leech. No. This budding philanthropist is just getting started. On YouTube you know him as Chef Boyar Shitty, but his name is Nader Elshamy. And today I'd like to tell you a bit about him and why it is we're talking about him. Because oh boy, he is one exquisite piece of shite. In the spring of 2021, Chantal started dating an unknown man. This didn't really last long, the unknown aspect, because Chantal had managed to dox the person via caller ID during a live stream. She had at first referred to this guy as Dom and accompanied it with a picture. Kind of accurate when you think about it, yeah. Nader at the time was described as a super hot 40-year-old Egyptian immigrant by Chantal. Not long after she basically put him out there and then people found out who his family were, they themselves collaborated and made a video called The Sons of Elshamy. It was cringe. Nader has made a number of claims concerning his upbringing, along with claims of when he came to Canada, much of which has been debunked. Certainly when it concerns his academic background, him dropping out of school, his heroics working for a boat as a big deal on a cargo ship. It gets a bit long and quite embarrassing. It's lucky really there are forums that exist that catalogue all of this. Nader has also claimed to have come from a wealthy family. Many people do not believe this to be true because of the relationship that Nader had with Chantal, or has. It is a constant flip-flop, where Chantal has continually bailed out and financially supported Nader, and Nader's rather interesting habits, much of which enable Chantal. Om nom nom. The one thing that Nader has really latched onto from his youth to now is that he is an amazing cook, which couldn't be further from the truth. When I mentioned in the intro medium rare chicken, that was because he actually did cook medium rare chicken and think it an actual meal. It is a meal, but the meal isn't called chicken, it's called salmonella. It's an Italian dish, where even the Italians don't eat it. I would advise though not to challenge Nader on his cooking skills because he has a certificate from the Alberta Health Services. This is legitimate, everyone. Now this information on its own should tell you a bit about who he is, but I've left out a large swath of information, and that concerns the actual relationship with Foodie Beauty. Well, that's where we're going next, because that is something, an entity as it were, unto itself, and it's quite frustrating, because then we have to insert Didi. Initially claimed by both parties to have only ever meant to have been a hookup, Chantal, because she has this trait, we've discussed it many times, an addiction to certain things, fell in love at an exceptionally expedited rate with Daddy Naddy, because he is the first man to have really paid attention to her. Senpai had finally noticed her. To ensure that this golden age went as swimmingly as possible for Chantal, she started to pay for him to stay at home with her rather than go to work on a construction site. She would buy him clothes, groceries, cigarettes. By the way, he smokes 2 25 packs a day, which is according to others over $900 a month on cigarettes. She would pay his rent, buy him a cell phone in her name, along with setting up a YouTube channel for him, which she later confessed when they were having a sort of age of strife, as it were, that she would still edit videos for him. Interesting. With helping him set up his channel, this included buying him an iPad Pro, which cost about 1,700 Canadian dollars. While they had originally hooked up in spring of 2021, they didn't actually go official until October, during a rather expensive trip to Toronto that Chantal paid for. The relationship, though, initially only lasted 5 days. Chantal, in many of her rage-drunk infused streams later on, would call this the year of abuse. Interesting to note, though, because of the nature of who Chantal is, a month after they had broken up, Chantal bought herself an engagement ring. Yes, this is the ring in question, by the way. Now, I've mentioned Chantal gave him a lot of things, so what did Nader give her? He gave her gonorrhea. He gave her chlamydia. He gave her bruises. He also gave her trichomoniasis. If you don't know what that is, don't Google it. There are some things best left unknown. I had to Google the pronunciation, and now I know. I need to cleanse myself with an exterminatus. With the many issues Chantal has, how did this become such a big thing over such a short space of time and become so explosive that it ended after less than a week? Well, because it turns out Nader is a bit of a grifter, and Chantal knows she makes poor decisions. So naturally, because Chantal doesn't care about things like her health, her wealth, lack thereof now, and of course more importantly, her whole life entirely, Nader was able to zero in because he has a type anyway. I can prove this because while he was serving time in one of those ISO cube places, somebody he had been seeing passed away. He took it like a champ and said something that I can't repeat, but the words are on the screen. The format for his typical show on YouTube, the Nader Elshamy channel that is very 2D, very linear, in the sense that all ingredients, all components are usually prepared before he starts his live stream. The kitchen is cleaned on the spot. He likes to stand to the side of things that are happening, giving off a very 2D artist impression of what he is trying to accomplish. Usually the stuff he has prepared is cold and greasy by the time he actually starts to cook. And presentation, because he's a chef of course, is impeccable. It is during these shows he will talk to his fans, all of whom love him or loved him. It swings in roundabouts with him, I'm afraid. They were on his side at one point when accusations came out from her and from some other people. Yes, it all got a bit messy and people just stuck around afterwards because, well, we do love ourselves a good shit show, right? Nader will then, over the course of the stream, prepare the meal as best he can, engage in conversation, perhaps the odd argument, start a fight with whomever it is he is there doing his live show with, whether that be Chantal, or whether that be with another woman called Didi, who Chantal is so jealous of, she has cosplayed as her a couple times, along with saying some rather vulgar remarks concerning aspects of Didi's body. Nader also has a reputation for creating smoothies, which have been described as random, containing clashing fruits, curdled milk, vanilla powder, and fresh mint. Oh, and that certificate I showed you earlier? Yeah, high school students can get those doing their first, fast food job. So Nader stopped flashing it once he realized it wasn't as impressive as he thought it was. But we at least know he got some use out of it. Something Nader really enjoys doing is taking cuisine, certain dishes that are, let's say, staple diets for certain countries and cultures, and doing it his own way. For example, we have earlier showed fried chicken, which many called chicken sushi, pounded stuffed beef tenderloin, tuna, which he then bragged about tasting like, well, a tin tuna. That's not good. His own interpretation of lasagna, roast chicken, and of course the one that looks like it's been thrown up, beef stroganoff. If none of this puts you off eating for a while, I am very surprised. There are some instances where it could be argued Nader might show a glimmer of talent when it comes to cooking. It's very hard, for example, to cock up poutine. That doesn't stop him from trying. Now, since he does use his live show to also do, let's say, more creative forms of cooking, in turn we get more of an insight into just how much of a flip-flop the person he's not and totally is but totally not seeing, Chantal, is. We know what he is. For example, he's an amazing actor. Best demonstration of this would be that rip-roaringly amazeballs barbecue that he did by the side of the road.
I have visit with my friend today, chicken breasts, and here's beef short ribs with onion and zucchini. The best. Guys, I want to tell you something. Yo, bro, I'm coming.
I did go over to the Egyptian guy's house. He lives by himself. He has like no family here or nothing. So this guy is fucking crazy. Like I ended up tiptoeing out of there when he fell asleep. He gets mad easy. Like I know there's going to be red flags, but he gets so mad. Like, so to ease the mood, he starts smoking. He lights up this Moroccan hash and we get totally baked. And then he like I don't want to say this, but you guys are going to be so, I don't do this on a regular basis. I don't even do it really, but I did it for some reason. I did it. But I did like, he busted out like a bunch of lines of cocaine. It was like in a bag. It was like white, maybe? I don't know. So here's what I did. If you're going to judge me, you're going to judge. And I'm not doing it ever again. Okay? Never. Started off doing some lines. He got some of that. He got like, I think, 1 gram or something. He's a fucking liar.
And you have something else to say? Like, what?
Yeah, you're a speed addict.
Right? I don't know.
Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Poppers and coconut oil, exactly. All Nader saw was a low self-esteem Caucasian lady with cash. You were there to pleasure her night board. He's gonna cry. He's gonna cry. Just watch. Just the coke, as far as I know. Beauties are beauty. We did cook a lot together.
Now I know Chantal to many of you is a proven liar. In this instance, we are going to believe. On far too many occasions, she alluded to all the things she has consumed. We have seen her responses on live. It's far too, yeah, no, she's definitely done this. So next, we need to talk about the Holy Trinity of Naddy Daddy, Dee and Beezy. There's no version of this video where I can accurately manage to tell you the story timeline of all the events concerning Nader, Chantal and Eddie Izzard, but I can provide some information. Oh, this is not going to be easy. From what I know, Nader and Dee got together via his own comment section. Was it Chantal's? You know, it doesn't matter. That's how they hooked up. I think she might have been a fan of Chantal's. Their relationship is very symbiotic and also non-committal in the sense that when it's payday, Nader is with Chantal at a 1-star sleazy, although that is mutually exclusive, motel of some kind, until the money dries up and then he goes back to Dee. Invariably, the rest of the month is spent heckling each other from their own respective peanut galleries. From time to time, though, the threesome have met up, and on multiple occasions spent some rather intimate time together. If anyone saw Chantal's Drunk Cuban livestream, you'd know more about it. I had thought when all these incidents happened, each and every time perhaps they'd finally learn their lesson and stop this. But it turns out when I mention symbiotic, they really are that. At present, all three need each other for clout. Now granted, Dee does have a job. Chantal's job is YouTube, where she likes to dab on the haters by telling us she makes more than them combined. Nader, well, I don't know what he does, but he's a chef, everyone. But to go back to when this all began, when Dee and Nader first got together-ish, kind of non-committally, because Nader doesn't like to be seen with any of the women he dates. He's kind of embarrassed of them. Foodie Beauty was understandably jealous. She would call him on multiple occasions, on live streams in fact. She'd get drunk, she'd cry, she'd write poems and songs about him. He would carry on doing his thing, but then he would from time to time go meet her at hotels. As I stated, one time they had actually said that they didn't meet up at all, yet that's not true. This gets murkier when you realise not only was Chantal in some of the videos that Nader claimed she wasn't recording because she was holding the camera, the height was a giveaway, but that Dee was okay with this? I don't get it. I could never understand this. There are channels on YouTube that have done hour-long breakdowns of this relationship, and I still didn't understand any of it. Not only because the timeline's a mess, but because they all lie. They think they're telling the truth when they provide receipts, but in reality, this holy trinity is a mess. Because I think some of them believe their own lies enough that they think it's genuinely true. And that's not including the allegations, along with Nader's own volatile temper being caught on camera multiple times, leading many to believe, because it really did look this way, like he had harmed people. Didi and Chantal being on the receiving end of Mr. Oozing Machismo's rage. I took the liberty of going to Twitter and asking for people to cite a relevant source or bunch of sources where I could then address all the allegations and things he has said and we have seen him do that make him a truly horrendous individual, a coward no less. By the way, the moment you struck a woman, you became a coward. And you became a coward when you decided to brag that you could take people on and you're so tough and prisons are so soft, and then demonstrated this. The majority of people who replied to me linked me a video via Mo Translates, a comprehensive 21-minute video showcasing some of Nader's truly horrific activities, behaviors, and actions. With the permission of Mo Translates, I'm going to play some of that to you now. Her video is titled Trigger Warning Nader Elshamy. I highly recommend you watch it if you want the full context, but be braced for it, it is quite dark. I'm going to play some of the relevant clips now.
You stabbed Dolphine. I said, yes, I did. And I went to jail. I don't want to jail because I'm joking. I went to jail because I stabbed two, man and woman, 5 times.
Grabbed me and pushed me backwards and told me that we have to get these clothes off. And I knew I was, that he was going to pound my kitty into the ground. He wasn't going to stop till he was done.
He can't fuck shoo, so he's done with me, and he wants to tell her husband, and he wants to tell my...
Tomorrow you will see.
That's amazing.
Tomorrow you will see.
Wow, that's a great person.
Her phone name gonna be inside tomorrow.
Oh, coward.
I'm not coward. I'm not coward.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm not coward.
Hey, he just threw his cigarette at me,
I'm
and
not
he just
coward.
threw his fucking thing at me.
I'm not coward.
He's throwing his cigarette at me.
And don't fucking say me coward again.
Wow.
Okay? I'm not coward. Nobody scare me, bitch. Because I scare from people who eat people. Me, I fucking eat people.
You
don't know.
Stay where you are. Do not come back here.
You don't know.
Stay where you are. You just slapped me across the face so hard.
It's not your business.
You just slapped me
And
across
shut the
the
fuck up,
face.
too. Don't talk to me that way.
Oh,
Don't talk to me that way. You motherfucker.
Okay.
Don't talk to me that way.
Okay.
Don't talk to me that way.
Okay.
I'm not coward, you fucking bitch.
Okay. Okay.
Remember Delphine? God take her from me. Because I was going to do his job. I am.
Daddy, please.
What? What? What you say?
Daddy, please help me.
Who?
Daddy, my father. I want to help me.
Coward. You fucking hold my fucking... Stop my hand, I'll fucking beat you more.
Some of you may have noticed that is a reduced clip, because it goes on for about 10 minutes, and it's not nice. Continuing.
We'll talk about monkey. Not now. We need to go to the zoo. Go and make trip in the Toronto again. And maybe next live stream, if I don't make it to the zoo, at least I will invite monkey for banana smoothie. Why do you urge husband to beat her? Because you cheated. He got her being a bitch, talking to other people, asking about man bread, how big it is. Two choice. He will leave her alone, get rid of her, or he's a little bit crazy, he'll beat her up. Or another option, just say he's lying and say he was behind her laughing. So he's something else. The third kind. Or keep going, like Pete, Peshtik.
$50 when there was more in the chat.
Who's that, Ronnie? Ronnie, how much is your rate? I want to just have an idea. Somebody know how she look like? No. And Mo, this is man name, I guess. I hear that she's woman. انتم هؤلاء مش باينين. ترجم يا واد. تلزم القوانين. ممنوع زيك جرفوع صوته يطلع ويكون مسموع. هنا طلقه بتنهي الموضوع. هنيك عرضك. انا اعرف هنيك عرضك. امك هنيكها. يعني هتتكلم امك هنيكها. بلاش انا عشان امك وعيلتك هنيكها. وانت اولهم. هاخدكم بالدور. بلاش ايه عشان قليل الادب.
Alabin, we call the dish fool in Egypt, vegetarian dish. So let's talk a bit, unless you want to start now. What happened with you and Chantal? I broke up, I don't want her anymore. And I want me to hear about her anymore. I don't be girl, you don't be with my girlfriend.
So there's a YouTuber, he has like 10,000 subscribers, and I sent him nude pictures, all right? He's mad at me, so he literally is threatening to show all of my nude pictures online. He started showing it, and he showed my whole face and just blocked out my body. But he lives in Canada, so the police don't care that he's showing revenge porn.
By the way, that barely scratches the surface, and there's still lots more of that video left. I'm instead going to advise, if you want to watch it, it is linked in the pinned comment. Watch the entire thing from start to finish though. Context is very important and it is all provided in Mo's video. So now I'd like to move on to talk about his recent copyright striking of over 137 videos. Because he's not a coward, everyone, but he is a coward.
Coward. What time now? Exactly. 6 minutes. Action. Good luck. Remover. Request remover. Remover request. Clication. Agree. Nader Elshamy. Sign. Submit. Number 1. Coward.
I do wonder if anyone has taken the time out of their remarkably hectic schedules to tell Nader that if he abuses the copyright system, he himself could become, deleted via it for abusing the copyright system. We know it is an abuse of the system now because of the vast quantity of people you have struck.
Just one video. One of the video I delete. 1 over 137. 137 video. I take down.
Some of whom didn't even feature any of your content in their videos. You've just gone by identification? You know there is another way around it, right? There's this novel idea where, between creators, we have rules, where we can message each other via the studio facilities, and we can in turn reach out to a creator and ask them to remove the parts of us that we find egregious, possibly defaming. In your case, evidence in your inevitable trial. But you didn't do that because you don't understand terms of service. I know there can be some argument when it comes to clip channels, using clips of you, but it is transformative for the most part. The vast majority of them do adhere to fair use. They know it. It's why they use fair use disclaimers in their own videos. Most of them don't even mind if we mirror their content if we ask them, especially if they know somebody's a bit trigger happy on that iPad and just flags everything to collect personal information of the creators you have struck. First of all, by depriving them of the ability to do their job. Second, to deprive them of their personal information so that you can then use it against them. We know you dox. Everyone knows you dox. They know you dox, they know your violence, they know you're a reporter. Flaggers are not respected on YouTube at the best of times, nor are doxers. Nor are those that are still on the platform even though they've been seen striking a female. It is not looked down upon with any level of joy. In fact, we frown upon it. You may consider it a cultural thing and you try to justify it, but only cowards justify it.
Coward.
And that is what you are, Nader. And you have to be a coward to resort to lowly tactics like this. It is embarrassing of a man. Oh, but I'm physically tough, I'm built tough. Those white people aren't tough. Who cares about the other people? The actions of you define you, and your actions are indicative of a coward.
Coward.
I should now insert there is a change.org petition because YouTube haven't acted yet to deal with the fact he is abusing the copyright system. Many creators, many Twitter users have added Team YouTube and other YouTube accounts to try and get things changed, because this does look like a massive abuse of a system in place. And when you think about it, it makes very little sense. You're flagging the channels that in turn drive up traffic to your channel in the first place, and they only go there because of how much of a crappy person you are. You are as guilty as other creators I have flayed in the past for creating a community that is inherently negative. Now you're getting more traffic, yes, but this is short-term traffic. The long-term traffic was what you were guaranteed with the constant crap that you kept doing. And the fact you're still on the platform is another failing of the YouTube system. A system that is supposed to protect creators from others like you that don't seem to understand how to YouTube, how to internet, how to people, and how to not beat up women. Coward.
Coward.
You may have noticed I did not include Chantal in that segment with regards to her accusations and going to the police. The reason why is because she dropped them. Whether that be for good or bad, I cannot be certain, and I genuinely struggled to work out where I could fit this in without it seeming like I could either victim blame, which I am not trying to do in the slightest, or I am legitimizing when at this point the waters are so muddied you cannot be sure what is real or not. And that is a growing problem with the three of them. I also need to insert now that up to this point Didi is still with Nader and has fobbed off his behaviour as akin to that of a cultural thing, and therefore if you love that type of man, you have to accept your place, your part, your role in the relationship as the submissive. There are words for that, with many pointing out it is akin to that of Stockholm Syndrome, and there is a point to it. Annoyingly though, with any adult, you can only show them the door and give them the chance. Ultimately, even when faced with all the evidence that the person they are with is heinous and truly despicable, the choice is theirs to make, and rather aggravatingly to say, we have to accept that. Therefore, they are now guilty of what happens to them in the future, because everyone else has given them the chance to walk away. Nader Elshamy is a physically and mentally abusive man, unworthy of the word man, but a man nonetheless, that believes himself better than others. His arrogance and own sense of self-importance, which is quite inflated, has brought him to this place where he believes that he can control others. This is exacerbated when he takes advantage of those that are quite vulnerable for a whole plethora of reasons. He has a type, and if he's in control, and as long as he's the alpha, he does not feel threatened. The moment he feels threatened, he takes his cowardly anger out on those nearest to him, those that have given their bodies to him. And as he has said, if you try and defend yourself from his wrath, he'll just keep on hitting you, a sign of just how pathetic you are. I don't support deplatforming, but the evidence against you having breached terms of service of YouTube is quite high. At this point, it is a failure of the YouTube system that you are still permitted to upload content. It is a failing of that same system that has allowed you to try and deplatform everyone else. Your naysayers, your detractors. You're such a man. You're so brave. And I'm in turn so proud of you for being a pathetic, weak-willed individual. All of which has been proven in this video. There's one last thing I'd like to point out. There are many claims he has made throughout his life about what he has done in his life, from being a professional football player, which is a lie, a professional chef, which is a lie, to coming from a wealthy family, which is also a lie, which muddies the waters even more and makes it next to impossible for him to ever prove himself innocent. When it comes to him and, for example, Foodie Beauty, he can actually prove his innocence, because it turns out there's one more person on this planet even shittier than him. But ultimately, he, like many others, has dug himself a hole that he will never get out of. And to be honest, if anyone deserves to be in a hole like that, it is Nader Elshamy, the woman beater.
Coward.